The Boston Bruins dropped the ball in New York to begin 2025, and we are previewing Bruins-Leafs with friend of the pod, Mer Zylberberg. Let's get into it.
You're Locked On Bruins, your daily podcast on the Boston Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Bruins fans, and welcome back to the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast. I'm your host, Ian McLaren, and this is a daily show where we discuss all things Spoked B. Today is Friday? Yes, January 3rd, and I want to thank you so much for making Locked On Bruins part of your daily routine, free and available on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Get in on the NFL playoffs with a huge return with FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $250 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. All you have to do is visit FanDuel.com to get started. And before we get started, a quick reminder, you can find the podcast on social media at Locked NHL Bruins. And you can find me, my hockey thoughts, dad jokes, at Ian C. McLaren. And today, I'm joined on the podcast by our old friend, one of my favorite people in the world. It is Mer Zylberberg, if I can find the right button to press here to welcome Mer to the podcast. There we go.
There we go.
But we don't have the proper graphic. There we go.
You
Mer,
said
what's up?
friend. You said old friend. It makes me feel old.
I mean, I don't mean you're old, an old friend. You know.
Hi. I'm great. I'm tired because I was at the Leafs Islanders game on Long Island last night.
A view from the ground last night.
Yes.
Against Toronto, the New York Islanders. The Bruins were also in New York last night. Two different results for our teams. What was the view from your seats? What's it called? The
UBS Arena, which, by the way, I think I have mentioned on the pod in the past that I was not a fan of Nassau Coliseum. Like going there, the vibes were off. It was off. I got to give props. UBS Arena is totally different. The stadium itself is gorgeous, new, fresh. Seats are great, but even the vibe, I don't know if it's because the Islanders are like tanking this year, but the fans are nowhere near as like obnoxiously annoying as they used to be. Other than the fact that it's been almost 7 years since he left, and they still do anytime he touches the puck because nobody grudges Long Islanders apparently. But other than that, the vibes were way better. And if I know there's often talk about how there's so many Leafs games at every road game. So many Leafs fans at every road game. I'm still drinking coffee. But like on Long Island, it's even more because there's a huge Toronto, in particular Toronto Jewish population, but really just Toronto population.
Right.
It was just as loud for the Leafs in there as it was for the Islanders. So I mean, I had fun. I went with a coworker and his girlfriend, and he's also from Toronto. We had a great time. And I do have to give credit to, the Islanders organization for UBS Arena and stepping up, and it definitely feels more modern.
Did you ever go see them at Barclays Center?
I saw them once at Barclays. Not great space. Not the vibes. The stadium is not meant for hockey. It's basketball and concerts. And so like it's hard to see. The seats aren't set up the way that we expect in a hockey arena. So it was just not, it wasn't as, it didn't feel as authentic to a hockey game.
Right. And so the Leafs this year, everybody's talking about how they're a like different team under head coach Craig Berube. Is that something that you can vouch for, having seen them in person?
Yeah. So first of all, remember when I sent you a message one day randomly that was like, wait, is it Berube or Berube?
Oh, right, yeah.
Like, I still don't know because I was watching a game and they were saying Berube. And I was like, I thought it was Berube. And you were like, I also thought it was Berube.
Yeah, so, and then I looked it up and now I can't even remember.
Yeah, I don't know either. But yeah, so I was thinking about this when I was watching the game last night. It was a 2-1 win for the Leafs, which is not sort of like the Leafs of yore, right? For many seasons, this was like a high scoring team, exciting but dangerous. That is not the team that we're watching now. Like, I mean, hockey games are always fun, but if I have to be honest and objective, it was like a boring game for a lot of it.
Oh, yeah.
Not much happening. They've totally sort of flipped the script, and they're a strong defensive shutdown team. They're not high scoring. They're
no Austin Matthews. No Austin Matthews either, right?
Back. They're saying potentially this weekend. I don't know. Honestly, I mean, obviously, Austin Matthews is an amazing player. He's our captain this year. It's great. The team doesn't seem to do any worse for wear when he's not on the ice. So let him heal up, you know? I don't know. Maybe Berube, whatever his name is pulling a Tampa Bay Lightning, and they're going to IR him, long-term injured reserve, until the playoffs. I don't know.
Apparently, according to the NHL pronunciation guide, it is Berube.
Berube.
Yeah.
Like be a ruby.
Maybe Matthews needs one of those amulets to keep.
Amulet. Those are going to start selling. I don't know, but
Tavares with one, and Max Domi's on that train now, I think.
You know what else? And his line to that Domi McMahon line was all our goals last night. You know what I have noticed though, especially last night, our seats were right up by the glass, like we were really close. And I think there's something to it that JT does not play well on Long Island. They get in his head. Every time he touched the puck, he seemed to fumble with it.
Really?
He couldn't complete passes. Like it was something. And he's been playing really well this season, so it's not like he's having an off season.
I guess after those games, he just goes home and snuggles into his Leaf sheets and feels all better about himself.
I'm sure. There was a girl sitting near me in full Leafs pajamas, and I went over and was like, where do I get those?
Didn't you say there was a hat mishap last night as well?
Oh, yeah. When I was up on the concourse getting food, the Islanders mascot, what is he? Like, I still don't know.
I have no idea. After you said that, I'm like, what even is the Islanders?
We were talking about it, and like I saw him and still couldn't tell you what he is, but he walked by. I was wearing a Leafs toque beanie, if you're American, a big one, and he took it off my head and walked off. And I was like, I literally called out, like, I was like surprised. I was like, dude, that's an expensive hat. So from 10 feet down, he tossed it back to me. I was like, also, my hair doesn't look good when you put a hat on bangs and then take it off. Like, I needed my hat.
That's why I'm wearing a hat this morning.
Yes, it was like that, but a Leafs hat. I was also wearing Leafs socks, courtesy of Ian McLaren.
Now, the Islanders mascot should be a fisherman.
Maybe that's what it was. A fisherman. Someone was like, I think it's a farmer. I don't think it's a farmer.
I'm looking at a picture. His name is Sparky the Dragon, apparently.
No, there's two.
There's another one?
And then there's a different dude.
Oh, I see. Oh, right.
It was the dude.
Okay.
A dragon, I think I would recognize.
Why in the world would the Islanders have a dragon mascot? That makes no sense.
I don't know.
That's the most random thing in the world.
But it's an interesting team this year, these Leafs. Like, they definitely feel different. The flavor is different. It is not as exciting hockey, but it's getting the job done. So I don't know.
They've gone from like all dressed chips to like Lay's
regular
Ruffles.
That's exactly it. They've, 2-1 games, 3-1 games, 3-2 games. Like they're not, cranking out goals, but they're winning games. I got to give props to our goalie tandem, although hopefully Stolarz is back soon. I love it.
Who's the other guy right now? Hildeby? Wall, and who's the backup?
And Hildeby's backing him up, but Matt Murray's played a couple games too.
So it'll probably be Wall on Saturday, I would imagine. And let's talk a bit more about that game here in a minute as the podcast continues. All right, the NFL playoffs are right around the corner. It's not even too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up a W. You can bet on which players will score touchdowns, how many points each team will score, of course, it's not just for the NFL either. You can put some money down on the over-under for the Bruins-Leafs game tomorrow night, who's going to score goals, etc. And right now, you can get $250 in bonus bets by putting down $5, and if you win on that bet, you will get that boost. All you have to do is visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You going to put some money down on the game tomorrow night, Mer?
I am not a bettor. My husband is a bettor.
Yeah.
He often, before Leafs games, will ask me who I think is going to score a goal so that he can bet. And I always tell him someone on the opposing team because I'm superstitious.
The only betting I do is the Tim Hortons challenge, picking goal scorers. I haven't done that lately.
I am not a bettor. I'm not a gambler. It makes me nervous. I don't like it.
I played Pro Line a couple times in high school, but that's pretty much it.
I never even bought a lottery ticket.
Oh wow. Yeah, me neither. Yeah. I only got some for Christmas in my stocking from one of my aunts.
That's nice. But yeah, so tomorrow's game should be fun.
Tomorrow night, Bruins-Leafs. Is it?
Is it the first one of the season? I can't remember.
I can't remember either. I did not prepare at all today. Rolled out of bed around 9 o'clock. Didn't have to get the boys up for school yet. So, and I'm also unemployed. So
I did have to get my children up from school, and it was not a pleasant experience. Just saying.
Tomorrow, Bruins-Leafs, 7 p.m. at Scotiabank Arena. Did you know that they changed the sign outside Scotiabank Arena based on what's happening inside? I just saw this on Reels the other day. So if there's a Leafs game, it'll turn blue. If there's a Raptors game, it'll be...
I did not know that.
Anyways, this is the third time these two teams have played this season. How did you forget that?
Where's it?
Bruins and Leafs played on October 26th, and Boston won 4-3 in overtime. Brad Marchand scoring.
Right.
First of the season. November 5th, the Leafs shut out the Bruins 4-0.
That was a high-scoring game for the Leafs. Totally opposing.
And then, they had 3 power play goals.
Okay, there we go. I see. Got it.
Yeah, 6-6 on the penalty kill. So nothing has changed for the Bruins because their power play is still garbage and the penalty kill not great. And now they play tomorrow and then one more game on February 25th. I guess that will be after the Four Nations face-off.
Right. All right.
And
tie-breaking.
What's that?
It's a tie-breaking matchup.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
1-1 on the season.
How does
it feel for us to be on opposite sides of where we've been in the past with the Leafs sort of rising and the Bruins and that's kind of been our history the other way around for the duration.
Yeah. I mean, the Leafs have been good in the regular season, but in the playoffs.
But
I don't know. I was kind of down on the Leafs, always, but I was down on the Bruins on social media the other day after they lost on New Year's Eve, and I said, thanks for almost nothing this year. And then someone was like, they beat the Leafs. They were one of the last 8 teams in the playoffs. That's not nothing. But for me, it was them beating Toronto in the playoffs is more of it's just hilarious for Toronto and not really anything the Bruins. It just wasn't kind of expected that the Bruins would beat them in 7 games.
I mean, I wonder what are the chances of a matchup this year at this point?
Pretty good actually, because are the Leafs in first at the moment? Yeah, the Leafs are in first. The Bruins are technically third in the Atlantic, but they've played 5 more games than Tampa, and Tampa's only 2 points behind. So chances are right now it would be Washington versus Ottawa, and then Toronto
versus Tampa.
But that's point. If you go by point percentage, it would be Washington, Ottawa, and then Toronto, Boston. So it would either be Boston or Ottawa that Toronto would play in the first round.
Right now.
Right now, yes.
Huh. Interesting.
Which would be interesting. Those old Toronto-Ottawa matchups were pretty exciting.
Yeah, that would. I mean, either one of those would be fun. I'm sick of these Florida teams. Can someone get rid of them for a bit?
I know, seriously.
Like, come on.
Apparently, they're going to be Florida's hosting an outdoor game next year, and it looks like it could be Boston or the Rangers who will play.
Where and how are they doing that?
I don't really know how that would work. I guess.
Remember the Tahoe outdoor game?
Oh, it might be in. Yeah, that was amazing. That was one of my favorites.
To stop it because the ice was melting because of the sun.
I think it was. Yeah, that's true. But I think they might play. Maybe it won't be outdoors, but it would be at like where the Marlins play, which I think is covered. Oh. So maybe they can temperature control that.
I don't know. I just remember the Tahoe game was super cool looking, and people were watching.
It was amazing.
But they kept having to stop the game because the sun was setting and the ice was melting.
Very true.
So I don't know how they would. I mean, I understand the draw to try to bring these fun events to places that aren't the Northeast.
Mm-hmm.
But also, weather is a thing.
Yeah.
Even in the Northeast, I mean, it's cold this week, but our temperatures have not been super low. My kids were asking me the other day when it's going to snow, and I was like,
yeah, we got some yesterday, but maybe outdoor games are a thing of the past. Thanks, Obama.
Unless, we take them up to the territories.
Yeah, sure. Have one and none of it.
That would listen, I'm not against it. Let's, we want to spread the game of hockey, spread it.
Lake Louise would be the real dream location. That'd probably be the best.
Outdoor game in Muskoka.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure some NHLer's got to have a rink at his cottage up there.
You don't think Connor McDavid has a rink at his palatial Muskoka cottage?
Have you seen him up there? Have you seen any players up there?
I have not run into players up there, but that's also because for the most part, when we're at our cottage, we don't leave our cottage. We just stay there.
I know a neighbor kid of ours go to camp at Muskoka Woods, it's called. And there's like tons of NHL players who drop their kids off there.
I'm sure. Well, we did do a day of now I can't even remember what it's called. God darn it. It's like snowboarding on water.
Skiing. Oh, wakeboarding.
Yes, but wake surfing.
Wake surfing.
We did wake surfing. I'm like, but we're playing charades here. And that was at
And you bumped into a NHL player.
No, but it was at a resort that I think a lot of them
do
from time to time. But we were out on the water. So anyways.
All right. We got a couple of minutes, so you have to drop off, Mer.
Yes.
Prediction for tomorrow night first.
I just told you that John asked me this, and I don't like making predictions. I think it will be a defensive game. I don't think we're going to see a lot of goals. That's my prediction.
All right. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd probably say it'll be 3-1 Leafs, probably with an empty netter, similar to last night.
We didn't get an empty netter last night, but whatever.
Did they pull their goalie?
They pulled their goalie, and then the Islanders thought they scored to tie it, but it had gone in after the whistle, so they could. And then we just shut it down from there.
Very cool.
Anyways, yes, I think that it will be a boring hockey game, just the way Craig Berube likes it.
B. It's B.
Berube.
Berube. He's your bae? What? Now, I can't let you go without asking about some recommendations book-wise.
You know what I've been binge watching? I have 3 episodes left in the series. 7 seasons of Bosch.
Chris Bosch.
No. The show is called Bosch.
Oh, right. Oh, you've watched that whole. But wasn't there a reboot? Have you been watching
Bosch Legacy? There's 3 seasons of, so thank God, because I'm like stalling to finish. I love this show so much. It's based on the book series by Michael Connolly. If anyone is like a legal thriller type person, I've read all the books. There's like 30 of them. And the series is actually very good. And you know me, I am like, when I love a book series, I'm a purist, like Reacher. I couldn't watch it.
That's coming back soon.
I know. I'm so excited. But Bosch is really, really good. I'm almost done binging it.
I watched the first season. I don't know why I didn't keep going, but I like the main guy.
Yeah, he's awesome. I've tried Lincoln Lawyer. It's not as great, but I'll watch Bosch Legacy.
Lincoln Lawyer. The show you watched, started that on Netflix?
Yes, it's not.
Well, native Nev Campbell is in that.
Yes, she
Worth
is.
watching just for that.
So that's my pop culture recommendation.
Cool. I just finished season 2 of Squid Game.
So did Logan, my 11-year-old son.
Yeah, I know. I let Ewan watch it as well.
I let him. He just watched it. He's like, "Want to watch?" And I'm like, "Not at all."
And there's nothing really else I'm watching right now.
Well, Reacher is back soon. We do love a Reacher.
Right. I have been watching a Landman, which is another new Taylor Sheridan show. I've been all up in the Sheridan verse.
Oh, I have been recommended in my library app to read the Slow Horses books. And
you got to watch that show. That show is the best.
So I'm trying to decide, do I read the books and then watch the show or vice versa?
I think the show is pretty much, I think one season is pretty much a book. So
okay.
Either way. Okay. And Black Doves, watch Black Doves as well.
Okay.
Slow Horses is one of the best shows out there. It's like 6-episode seasons. They pump them out. It's great.
All right. I will watch that when I finish Bosch.
All right. I think you have a meeting to jump off to, Mer. I will let you go.
Obligation.
What's that?
I have a work obligation.
Okay.
Yes.
And I will be back in a moment to touch on last night's crappy performance by the Bruins. Have you ever found yourself paying for subscriptions that you didn't even remember you had? Well, Rocket Money can help you find those subscriptions and get rid of them. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Brings everything together in one place, whether it's subscriptions, your spending habits, or even the goals you want to hit this year. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, up to $740 a year per member. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon to get rid of those unwanted subscriptions. All right, let's finish off by touching on last night's game against the New York Rangers. A very disappointing effort for the Bruins because this, of course, is a very beatable New York Rangers team. They were 2-8 coming into this one. They're without star goalie Igor Shesterkin. Mika Zibanejad, who hadn't scored in such a long time, comes up with the first goal of the game. Jonathan Quick makes 32 saves for the Rangers, and all the Bruins could muster was a second period goal from Elias Lindholm. 32 shots on goal, or 33 shots for the Bruins, 27 for the Rangers, but a couple miscues defensively for the Bruins. I know Mason Lohrei was taking some heat on social media last night. Jeremy Swayman was taking some heat for making only 25 saves. But for me, it's the goal scoring. Joe Sacco said this as well. It's frustrating, he said. Obviously, we're not scoring right now at the level we want to be. Not from a lack of opportunities. We're just not finishing right now, he said. Another good defensive game for the most part, and we have to stick with it. On the first goal, Chris Kreider intercepted a Swayman clearing attempt, got the puck to Zibanejad. The rebound came to Riley Smith. His backhand shot got behind Swayman. Zibanejad stuffed the puck in. And then a defensive miscue on the second goal. Odd man rush, and Berard put it over Jeremy Swayman's glove. Just a frustrating result all around for the Bruins, and you're giving the Rangers a bit of life here as a team who has fallen out of the playoff picture. You don't want to give them an opportunity to move up because the Bruins could be the team that's bumped out of that playoff spot. The Rangers have won 4 games in a row against the Bruins, 3 0-0 against them last season, 1-0 this year, and then there's another game coming up here when's the next game? I'm not even sure. In February sometime. The Bruins went 0 for 1 on the power play. They did kill Rangers' only power play opportunity. And again, just a lack of finish for this team. Overall, the Bruins had the lion's share of shot attempts. They had more shots. Scoring chances were fairly even, as were high danger chances. Expected goals fairly even as well. All that it came down to was finish for this team. The Bruins had 61% of the shot attempts, 55% of the shots, 54% of the scoring chances. High danger chances were even. Expected goals pretty even. The difference was a finish from the Rangers. They were able to bury their opportunities, whereas the Bruins were not. Even more, you could understand if it was Shesterkin who goalied this team, but I mean, no disrespect to Jonathan Quick. He's past his prime, and he was the one who got it done last night. That was probably the Bruins' easiest game on the schedule here in the next little bit. Again, we teed up tomorrow night's game against the Maple Leafs. This is a team that has improved a lot defensively, and that the Bruins, let's be honest, while they have had their number in the past, it's a team they could struggle against coming up tomorrow night. When you look at their overall team defense, the Leafs are pretty good. They've added Chris Tanev on the back end. They're allowing only 2.74 goals per game, which is ranked 8th in the NHL. And they're coming off a couple wins over the New York Islanders. Even without Austin Matthews, they still have a lot of firepower. John Tavares leading the way for this team with 6 points over their past 5 games. Their power play is struggling a bit as well. It's only 18th ranked. Their penalty kill is ranked 10th. So this should be an interesting game. It's a big one for the Bruins, who are going to be looking to rebound from that disappointing effort against the Rangers last night to begin 2025. That's it for today's episode of Locked On Boston Bruins, my friends. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. Thank you to Mer for jumping on. And please do check out the Locked On Fantasy Hockey podcast next, where Steal and Flip will give you all the tips you need to take over your league this weekend. And please do subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on your favorite podcast app. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your favorite team every single day. If anything big happens over the weekend or later today, I'll be sure to jump on and record a short and be back on Monday to recap this one and take a look at the week ahead for the Bruins. Actually, they play on Sunday as well, so perhaps I'll do a quick bonus episode after the Leafs game to tee up the Islanders game. So be looking out for that as well. All right, friends, have a good Friday. We'll talk to you again here on the next episode of Locked On Boston Bruins.